more. We're going to kick off Good Things today with a beautiful story of one man being inspired by another person's act of kindness and generosity, and then having the courage to pay it forward. Joining us on Good Things today is Miss Stace Mercier. She is the Executive Director for the University of Southern Miss Foundation, along with Miss Megan, who is the Chief Communication Officer for the USM Foundation as well. So welcome, ladies.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
I don't mind who kicks it off, but I want one of you to first introduce us to who Mr. Lamar Powell is.
Sure, Rebecca. I'll start that. From what we know, and Stacy and I, neither one were fortunate enough to meet Mr. Powell during his life, but Lamar was born right outside of Liberty, Mississippi in 1918, served in the military for 23 years with distinguished service, and loved to dabble in the stock market, as we understand. And his life's dream was to help other children who weren't able to go to college have academic support and financial support to make their dreams a reality and enjoy a life that would make the world and the state of Mississippi a better place.
So I love this story because it's a Mississippi man who went off to serve our country, and then maybe, he found the hobby of playing in the stock market, because you don't normally think of a military, career as being someone who has millions to give later. But, if you have the hobby and
Right.
You've got it good in the stock market. So he was coming home for a, routine reunion. I feel like we all can connect with that. And he was getting told of the wonderful story of Miss McCarty there at USM. So for those that may not remember her story, although we did highlight it here on Good Things, give us a recap of who she is and her importance to the university.
Stacy?
Sure. So Miss McCarty was an amazing person. She served pretty much her entire lifetime as a laundress, first working with her aunt and grandmother, and then later on her own in life, but made an incredibly generous gift to the University of Southern Mississippi of $150,000 plan gift that was realized, that created the Osceola McCarty Scholarship, which we celebrated 25 years of this fall. And we were on your show talking about that way back.
She even has an awesome statue there of herself on campus now, which you can come and sit by, which I love that some of the international students had brought her gifts. And that story just continues to go on. Do we know which family member may have shared Miss McCarty's story with Mr. Powell while he was visiting home for a family reunion?
We don't have that information. Mr. Powell never married, didn't have children, but he had siblings and many nieces and nephews. And I don't have that detail, but I can only imagine how that would inspire him, Miss McCarty's unexpected gift, to then turn into such an amazing and equally unexpected gift.
Exactly, and I think
years later,
that's where this story just keeps on giving, and you just never know the ripple effects of one person's willingness to do in their heart what they know to be right and good, which was Miss McCarty giving her all, which was $150,000, after she passed, to help those students get a chance at an education. And then Mr. Powell came back with a big 1-2 punch too for the foundation.
That's right.
How did your relationship with Mr. Powell start?
Well, from what I understand, and I've spoken to some of our former employees who were able and fortunate enough to meet Mr. Powell, that as he had this family reunion and learned the story of Miss McCarty, out of the blue, he called our office back in 2010 and spoke to one of our development team members. And a few weeks later, a $30,000 check came in the mail with the instructions to use it for student scholarships. And that was the beginning of a very long friendship with Mr. Powell and the university.
And Mr. Powell lived to be 97 years young and went ahead and transitioned after that. And through that, and then leaving his estate to different universities, how much has USM received to help students in their quest for higher education from Mr. Powell?
So that's the really incredible part of the story is, he lived very modestly. And having had a long career in the military, we know that our service members are certainly not paid what they are worth. But just the share that has come to the University of Southern Mississippi was $2.9 million, and coupled with the gifts he made in his lifetime, that's about $3.1 million that he has donated to the university, all of which is going to help students further their education. Mr. Powell, unfortunately, never had the opportunity to complete his education. He went to college for one semester. He went to Alcorn when it was Alcorn A&M for one semester in 1941, and I'm sure everybody can put the timeline together. Pearl Harbor happened, and he enlisted in the Army. So he never completed his degree, but he really understood the impact higher education could make on a person's life, and obviously he's put his money where his mouth is, and our state and our students are really going to benefit from his generosity from now on, because this is an endowment that'll be at the university in perpetuity.
Well, and I think it's, interesting, too, that both Miss McCarty and Mr. Powell both had an affection for higher education, but never got to reach that, level of educational success on their own. Both of them, leaving what they could to USM, and knowing that their students that have already benefited, I know, from Miss McCarty's generosity. Have you guys already had people, getting the benefit of Mr. Powell's donation, or is that still being set up? From
his lifetime giving, yes, we've had several students that have benefited, but the first cohort from the Lamar Powell Scholarship, which was funded from his estate and trust, is actually starting this fall. We'll have 15 students that will begin this fall, and eventually as that endowment grows and earnings start to accumulate, we'll have 80 students a year who will be benefiting from this scholarship.
Now, I know Miss McCarty was big into nursing. That was always her lifelong dream, was to become a nurse. And I know that, other students have been able to fulfill their dreams in that specific career field. Will there be specific career fields for Mr. Powell's, or is it more of just helping students who meet other, benchmarks to getting the help through his giving?
Right. So, no, he did not put any requirements in place about a particular major. Students are free to pursue their passion. The only requirement is that they have financial need, that they need support to be able to continue their education. And this scholarship will be a 4-year scholarship to include the Early Jump Start program at the university. And as long as a student maintains a 2.0 GPA, they can continue to receive this scholarship for that 4 years of college.
And this all is made possible not only by the generosity and the giving of people like Ms. McCarty and Mr. Powell, but then all the other sort of alums and people who come together to support the foundation. So how is the foundation foundational in getting this type of work together, these programs together?
Well, we're here to help facilitate philanthropy to the university, and we are so blessed with generous alumni and friends of the university, some of whom received scholarship support when they attended college, but many of them who did not, and some, as we're talking about today, who never had the opportunity to attend college. But they all have in common the passion for helping our students achieve their educational goals. They understand what a college education can do to change the trajectory of a life and a family. And so our work is really just to be able to help facilitate a conversation about what someone would like to achieve, and then to try to put that mechanism in place. So it's a great honor for us to be able to serve in that role. And we're just so fortunate that people have been so generous. Just last year alone, we were able to provide over 2,100 privately funded scholarships that totaled more than $4 million.
That's incredible.
Yep.
That is incredible. If someone's listening to Good Things today and wants to know more about USM's foundation or the opportunity to give or any of the scholarships, where can they go?
Sure. The easiest place to go is online to usmfoundation.com, and there are many interesting stories of our donors and our scholarship recipients, as well as information on how to start a scholarship, make an annual gift, and all of those things. So USMFoundation.com.
All righty. Well, I always love sharing these stories. Southern Miss to the top, ladies. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All righty. We got more good things